over the past 2 weeks, the County Council has addressed the budget needs of the county. Nancy, your former colleagues have been very busy lately. On May 9th, the County Council increased the recordation tax in Montgomery County, which is a one-time tax that applies to the principal amount of mortgage debt when buying and selling a home. The new rates imposed nearly double the rates for homes over $600,000, and yesterday it increased the real property tax by 4.7%. Now, with a faltering economy and rapid inflation, was this a wise move by the council?
Well, they did what they felt they had to do. I actually think the bigger issue is the impact tax increase that's going into effect automatically. Now, to build a new single-family home, I think the cost is up to $50,000 off the top. That's what's going to affect affordability going forward. The thing about the recordation tax, it's something that comes at you when you're at settlement. You don't really know about that until you're at the table or, the couple days before. So there's a mad scramble to cover the cost of the recordation tax. So I think that's less of a burden than some of the other things that are coming down the pipeline.
Well, the recordation tax actually affects your ability to get a loan because it goes into your overall total costs, and the lenders look at that. You may not know about it. The consumer, the borrower, may not know about it prior to the day before or two before settlement, but certainly the lenders look at it, and it also prices Montgomery County well above all of the other jurisdictions in our area. I mean, even the District of Columbia doesn't have taxes as high as Montgomery County. So it's a significant impact. And if you're competing with Anne Arundel County, Howard County, Prince George's County for new residents, for affordability, it really has a negative impact on what people can do.
Well, it's part of that big cash flow moment at settlement where so much money is passing hands. At that moment, that's the thing. People don't focus on it. They're looking at their overall out-of-pocket costs. I mean, that's the terrifying thing when they tell you like a week in advance. All of a sudden, you purchase the home of your dreams, and now you got to come up with all this extra cash you didn't.
Mark,
so that gets built into the long-term cost. That's for sure.
Well, it may be, but Mark, the median home price in Montgomery County is $532,000. So if this kicks in at $600,000, that means half the properties sold in Montgomery County are going to be impacted by this tax. What I found amazing, and this goes to Nancy's point as well, Council President Evan Glass said in his statement that the recordation tax premiums are projected to have no impact on the affordability of the price of housing. What do you think? Is Nancy right that the impact taxes that they passed more important than the recordation taxes?
Well, Nancy is right on citing that because it is very significant and a big impact. I'm reminded of the frog that's in the pan of water that's slowly heating up. Collectively, all these things have an impact, and it's a little like the frog that finally, when the water boils, ends up deceased. Collectively, these are all making Montgomery County less affordable. The notion that the recordation taxes, which is just, as you mentioned, just a tad above the median, it doesn't have an impact on affordability without the trickle down that takes place, doesn't pass the straight face test.
Well, it's pretty amazing. But Nancy, the big issue was what the council did yesterday, which was it reduced the proposed tax on real estate properties that the county executive, Mark Elrich, had proposed at 10 cents or 10%, and reduced it to 4.7, and in effect, cut the budget by $111 million.
Well, that sounds like a lot of money to most people. But if you look at the overall budget, it's nearly $7 billion. So do the math. It's pennies that we're talking about here in terms of the overall budgetary impact of what they've done. It's a message that we're not going to buy it all the whole package. But overall, it's not that much of a hit in terms of the overall cost to Montgomery County and to taxpayers. And the good news is, of course, under our rules, your property tax can't go up more than 10% a year. So, I mean, for existing property owners. So that will help cushion any combined cost of increased value and property tax increase. So there's that. So it's a statement.
It's a statement.
A statement enough
couldn't they
to
have
kick
done
off
more? Couldn't they have cut?
it
Couldn't they have
kicks-
cut more if they wanted to? I mean,
Sure.
as you point out, $111 million is the pimple on the elephant's ass. Couldn't they have cut more?
Well, I wouldn't put it quite that way. But you know, the major cost of Montgomery County government is employee salaries and benefits. They didn't touch that. So, you know, they're messing around the edges in terms of what they can reduce spending on.
Well, I think,
you know, the school system didn't
reality
get.
is flown out the window. And Mark, Adam Pagnucco, writing in Montgomery Perspective, says, everything the government does ultimately flows from the economy. And here's the thing, folks, our Montgomery County economy is not healthy enough to pay our bills. That's not just because of COVID. I could have made a 10-part series, but when you have growth problems in population, real gross domestic product, real per capita gross domestic product, personal incomes, wage and salary incomes, employment, average wages, and proprietors' income, it's hard to pick any other combination of measures that can offset all of that. Is the county council just living in a pipe dream?
Well, Montgomery County's business model, if you can describe it that, has been historically proximity to the federal government, which drove economic development. We've had government workers, and then we had contractors, and we had all the support personnel for that. A, and B, high taxes but high services. And so the idea was we would imply implicit bargain, or explicit bargain, if you will, was that those services would be there, and that would the taxes would be paying for that. The services are declining. The proximity to the federal government is not the advantage that it used to be because of the ability to distance. And Montgomery County really hasn't recovered from those challenges.